So here's a final review of the LG C4 at the bottom, and I'm doing it in a unique way that you probably haven't seen, and I'm comparing it against the Samsung S90D to the top, which is its direct competitor and the exact same price point. To which at this point I'll just tell you like this. The LG C4 is a waste of money, it's total trash. Because the LG C3 exists, the LG C2 exists, and the LG C1 exists. More or less, any one of those three TVs are better to buy for the money than this one right here. The reason being is because this does not do much to differentiate itself from those TVs. We're talking the remote, we're talking UI. It really feels like much of the same thing, except they're slapping a fresh new price tag on it. You factor in the fact that the speakers still sound every bit as shitty as they always have. They're not improving that. The S90D speakers are on another planet by comparison. Then you look at, again, just the simple day-to-day usage of it, and it just becomes clear. You go to game mode, it's dim in game mode on LG. You go to movies, whatever you watch on it, LG is going to be dim, faded, and lack a lot of expression. Past that, you're going to have a lot, and I mean a lot, of buyer's remorse once you start seeing whatever LG is working on, I imagine, to keep pumping out the same garbage content or garbage products year after year. Because there's no doubt that at this point, I am fully convinced that at the price point that LG is coming out at, and again, no matter what they do, it's always looking very similar to last year's model, even their flagship G4 series. Every single honest reviewer will tell you it's nearly identical to the G3. LG is stagnant and WOLED has hit its ceiling. No one is willing to tell you that when they're listening to this fantastic marketing that LG will put out, but that's the truth. You're at a stalemate with LG, and the only common sense step is to move forward in the world of quantum dots. Now, if you're watching this video and you're from a different region and they have WOLEDs there as well, all I can tell you is I can't speak on that. I am from America, and here in America in the States, we have certain units, and ours are QD OLEDs, and that is what I am talking about. I'm not talking about a WOLED Samsung. I think that is stupid too. I feel like, again, nobody wants to buy a WOLED S90D. Hence, if you ask a room filled with a bunch of people who heard it was a QD OLED and then found out that they got the WOLED version, you could hear the outrage from a lot of people because nobody really wants WOLED anymore. It's just something that a few hand-picked people and mostly purist groups get all bitchy and pissy over. At the end of the day, it's really simple as to which one of these two TVs I would recommend every day of the week. The S90D does a better job from a bright highlight perspective, from brightness perspective, contrast perspective, motion perspective, color perspective, gaming perspective. It just has literally everything you could ever want and need, and it truly is the best TV on the market right now that you could buy. Whether you buy it or not is up to you, considering you have the exact price point that it requires when you buy a C4. Again, totally up to you, but I'll just leave it like this. Whatever you end up with, hopefully it's something that you can live with for the next 5 to 7 years or however long your TV ends up lasting. But that being said, the LG C4 is one of those TVs that end up on my do not buy list because it is not different from last year's model enough to warrant the justified purchase or the cost increase that they are passing off to the consumer. And moreover, even though it says it has an Evo panel and all that stuff, and that excites a lot of people because they think it means like crazy great brightness, like, yeah, sure, it can hit 1,000 nits in HDR, but I promise you it's not going to be that massive benefit that you're expecting. Because again, I compared it against my LG C1 and it just looked like shit by comparison. It lacked richness of color, to be very specific as to why I say that. And again, it's just not something I'm willing to compromise on in terms of color and all that good stuff. But that being said, I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments down below. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching the #1 brand in honesty, but essentially, don't buy the LG C4.